We did have an NES and a Super Nintendo at my grandma's house. When my parents heard that I was doing this game, the first thing they did was buy a Wii. So I got really good at Duck Hunt. I'm actually really glad that I had no previous contact with Metroid, because this way I was a clean slate. I got to come in and just tell the story that Sakamoto-san wanted to tell, and just have the words in front of me without any preconceptions or notions about who Samus was or who I thought she was. And I would definitely have been intimidated. There's definitely the inner monologue voice, which is detached, and I've heard it described as emotionless. It was the first joint mission I'd been a part of since becoming a freelance bounty hunter. And of course, it was the first time since my Federation days that I was following the orders of a commanding officer. It was definitely, planned on sounding like that. And she's just looking back at past events. And so she is very much detached. And, there is a little bit of remorse in some things. And then there's her kind of real-time action voice, where she's very much engaged and things are very much more urgent for her.
Adam, I can reach him. Give me the order, please.
Lock and secure the shielding doors now.
Adam, wait! There's still time. I can make it. Please let me go. I mean, that's Ian. That's your little brother out there.
I'm very thankful for my experience on stage, because even though acting is acting, whatever medium you're working in, the technical points and technical aspects of the different mediums are very different and have their own demands. So those skills from the theater were very, very useful. Yes, her soliloquies are very kind of Hamlet-esque. Unfortunately, that's not really a role I get to play as a, female actress, but yes, aspects of this game are very theatrical, which I think is just thrilling. And the kind of melding of the mediums and the writing style, I think, is really exciting. I'm so grateful that the creators of the game were there for almost every recording session. And even though, unfortunately, there's a language barrier, but just watching, Sakamoto-san and the team describing and visualizing what they wanted, that was enough. I could totally understand what they were going for. It was great having them there. I'm just intrigued all over by Samus. I think she's really an incredible and exciting character. And I just love that she doesn't apologize for who she is. She says, look, here I am. You can take it or leave it, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do, regardless of what you say. So I just really was attracted to her strength. But she's also, I think, a very real person. And she's a young woman dealing with problems, and she's trying to do the right thing. And so she's also very complex, and she's really, conflicted about certain things, but she has certain, objectives, and she really works to achieve them. And she's really driven, which I really, really liked. I think from the very first lines that I read, I had a good grasp of who she was and what she stood for. And what really resonated with me is that, she is not always acknowledged by her peers and her colleagues, but she tries to do the right thing anyway. And I think these are things that resonate with everyone who's a fan of Metroid. And here's this really strong figure that's kind of a rebel and still tries to do what's right for her in the given circumstances. And I think that's just really powerful. Well, I guess we finished about in January, February of this year, and we started in January of last year. And so over the course of that year, we'd have sessions of a few days here and there, maybe a pickup day. So it'd be, you know, every couple of months, they would bring in new lines or any changes they wanted made, which was exciting because as we went on, I got to see the storyboards, and then I got to see the motion capture videos, and then I got to see the actual videos from the game. So it was really cool to work with the new material each time, and then revisit some of the old material as well. Especially at the beginning of the recording process, I would just have the lines on the page, and they would describe to me what's happening. But when you actually get to see it, it's much more exciting and much more urgent. You realize that you're telling a real story, real things are happening, and it made it that much more urgent, especially when I had the videos to watch and I would record them on a loop. And actually, I believe it's one of the last scenes that they just kind of said, okay, here's the scene in its entirety, just go for it, which I think was one of my favorite moments in the recording process. Yes, I did get a chance to work with some of the actors last summer, which was amazing because it's fun, just being in the booth by yourself and really getting to connect with the character. But whenever you have the other actors there to play off of, it's so much more fun. And yeah, I had a blast with them. It wasn't weird at all, meeting the actor who plays Adam for the first time. Because so often, in stage, you'll meet someone one day, and the next day, you're choreographing a fight scene or a love scene. So it just kind of goes with the job, and as actors, you just kind of come with this readiness to support the other person. And so kind of having that unspoken agreement between us, it was just fun to play off of each other. And then I think the characters really got to grow and blossom, and that relationship really developed. Sakamoto-san is totally zen. I just, just from the moment I walked in the studio, he was so open and welcoming, and really, I just felt like he embraced me as part of this project. And I think that really gave me a sense of confidence. It really made all the difference that he, embraced me and said, this is my Samus, this is the voice I've heard. And I just think he's wonderful.